What is up, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of my social media book tour for Dear Love, right here on YouTube on my AKT Publishing channel. Welcome. So, to talk about Dear Love, I need to go back um, to 2012. I was attending Santa Rosa Junior College. I was sitting in an astronomy class. I was always fascinated with space, the stars, the planets, the galaxies, black holes. And coincidentally, my professor at the time was talking about black holes and what they can do and the damage they can do and all that stuff. And as he was talking about them, I kind of started having this idea about dreams, about a certain character who has these dreams, and these dreams are like windows into another life that he's living because they're so real and so vivid. And he kind of jumps in between the life that he lives in the dream world versus the life that he's actually living when he wakes up every morning. And wrote I wrote a note down about this idea, about dreams, about this character, and I put it and it was in a notebook that I used to took notes for my astronomy class. And I tried to think of something for this when I finally was able to sit down and just try to write this story. I had nothing. I couldn't really think of where to go with this story. So I didn't stress about it too much, really. I kind of just like, when it comes to me, it'll come to me. Well, we go from 2012 all the way to 2020. And 2020, we all know what 2020 was. It was a very long, very interesting year. It was COVID. And we were all doing our best to survive that year. And during that year, I had just released a story on my AKT Publishing WordPress page called The American. It was a love story, a story about a man that goes to London and meets a girl, falls in love, and things kind of happen in a very unexpected way. Um, and that story, I eventually took that story off of my WordPress page and became the book that a lot of you know it to be as A Walk Through London. And really quick, A Walk Through London, that book is getting a second edition, which I am currently working on. And it's going to be a little different from what the first edition of A Walk Through London is. But I will talk about that story another time. Back to Dear Love. So, as I'm starting to write Dear Love, I was writing this love story, which is what I write. I mostly write love stories. But anyway, so I was writing this love story about two best friends who met in college and got very close in their friendship, became very good, very best friends, very close best friends, and everybody around them, their friends and people that knew them, all believed that Emma and Miles, two main characters, were lying to everybody and saying they were more than just best friends, that they were more than that. And no matter how many times Miles and Emma told their friends and people around them that they weren't what they were perceiving them to be, they didn't believe them. So they just kind of shrugged it off and they just moved on with their lives. And eventually they moved to New York after college and they started their careers in New York. I mean, they got an apartment together in Brooklyn. And then once they started getting successful in their individual careers, Emma stayed in Brooklyn in that apartment, and Miles was kind of done with living in the city. He didn't mind working in the city. Working in the city is one thing, but living in the city, he couldn't handle it. He didn't like it that much anymore. So he ended up moving to Crawford, New Jersey, in the suburbs, in an apartment, and he felt a lot more at ease and a lot better living there. So he would just take the train to work every day, or to visit his best friend Emma, or any of his other friends that he met in the city. But occasionally he would drive into the city too. Anyway, there's we get to a point in the story where Miles and where Emma is had just gone through a bad breakup, and she had a boyfriend that made her choose between Miles and him. And Emma did not like to be put in a position where she had to choose between her best friend and this guy that she was dating. And it upset her very much where she was forced to choose, and so they ended up breaking up. And she was very upset about it. Miles was there for her, like he always is. Um, and in the course of that moment, Miles started to get these feelings for Emma, and was realizing that there were some hidden feelings that he always had for Emma, where he was in love with her, and he loves her and loves her more than just her friend, loves her like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you kind of love. And once he realized that love for her, that is where I got stuck for about a week, and I couldn't figure out where to go from there. And I didn't want to go the usual route where after he realizes his feelings, he tells her these feelings, and she feels the same way. They get together happily ever after. There you go. I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to be able to write a story. I wanted to be able to write this love story differently and have it go through, have it end in a way you didn't expect it, like where you get to a certain point in the book, and you hit a chapter in the book where it ends and it's like, wow, I can't believe that happened. This is totally happening in this next chapter. Then when it gets to that next and last chapter, and you're reading through, and it's like, oh, this is happening, and it doesn't go that way, and it kind of just shocks you, and it's like, I did not see that happening. And that's how this book goes, where you think it's going to go one way and it goes a completely different way, but it ends in a way that feels like I could see that actually happening in real life kind of way. But anyway, so to get to that point where you get to the end of that book like that, I needed something to feel what James was gonna go through and feel once he realized these feelings. And then as I was going through all these notebooks that I had, and most of these notebooks that I've had since middle school, and they're all notebooks of stories that I've written from middle school and from high school, and stories that were like, oh, this was good, I actually wrote this, and interested in probably going back and rewriting at a later time. Anyway, so I find the notebook that I used in my astronomy class, and it had the note from the dreams that I had, and then I looked at that and I'm like, what if when Miles realizes he has these dreams, what if Miles realizes when he has these feelings and this love for Emma, he goes to bed not knowing what he's going to do with these feelings, and then he starts dreaming about her, and each dream that he had, and he starts dreaming about her, and this constantly keeps happening every night he goes to sleep, and they're all dreams about him and Emma, but they're very different. But they're different dreams. They're dreams of him being married, him and Emma being married, him and Emma being married with kids, them married as an old couple, with their grandchildren playing in the yard, or a dream about Miles about to ask Emma to marry him. And I liked that idea, so I started writing that dream. And then where do we keep going? And then I kind of allowed everything to kind of flow. So then when he wakes up and he keeps having these dreams constantly, he keeps a notebook where he writes each dream that he has, and he starts each dream with dear love, and as the dreams keep happening, he keeps writing them down, and he reads about each dream. Each dream feels like a life that he's living in a completely different universe, in a different Earth, on a different Earth-like planet. But then he starts wondering about why these dreams I'm having about Emma are so real, so vivid. Why is it when I wake up every morning I can still feel like my hand has been touched, my lips have been kissed, her head has been laid on my chest? Why do I still feel all that? And that's where I started. That's where some more fun started to come in while writing this book, because then I was able to actually do some research about why the dreams Miles was having were so real and so vivid, and why every touch felt like it actually happened. And that was so fun to do. And then, you know, Miles Googles about his dreams, about why they're real, and when he gets an answer for it from Google, he can't under he doesn't having a hard time understanding the lingo, understanding the language about what it all means. So then he goes and gets help from a scientist that is friends with someone that Miles knows. And it kind of goes from there, and kind of weaves itself through the story about how he goes through and then he goes through a sleep study, and then gets answers from the sleep study, and then it kind of goes from there. So Dear Love is available on barnesandnoble.com and on Amazon. Go ahead and check it out. Figure out how it kind of all goes and ends for Miles and Emma. So the part I am going to read is on chapter 6. It's called One Kiss Changed Everything. And the part that I am going to read is after James had finished the sleep study, got the answers that he was looking for, and one of the scientists that was helping James through this sleep study was a woman named Kate, who ended up developing a crush on Miles. And after the sleep study is over and he gets his answers, she asks him out, and he's nervous about going out on a date with Kate because it had been a long time since he had been on a date with Kate, and his luck with dating hasn't always been the best. But he says yes, and later that night, as he goes to sleep, he has what ends up being one more dream about himself with Emma, and that is where I'm going to read. The next day, when Miles woke up, he reached for his journal and began to write about the dream he had of himself and Emma. Dear Love, the next morning when I wake up, I write about the life I dream about with Emma. But this dream was different. It was a dream about Emma and I, but we weren't married with children. We weren't just married. I wasn't asking her to marry me either. This time we were sitting at our usual sandwich shop in Brooklyn, sitting across from each other. I sat there as we talked. Emma sat across from Miles in their usual sandwich shop as she asked about Kate. So tell me about this girl you like, Emma said. I don't know if I should, Miles said. Why not? Emma asked. Because in this world we are together. We're married, sometimes with kids, and other times we're an old couple watching our grandchildren play in the yard, Miles said. Yeah, I know, and it was a beautiful life together, but it's not real. What you could possibly have with Kate is real, and you need to give that a chance. You need to let me go, Emma said. What if it doesn't work out with Kate? I'm not sure if I can let you go, Miles said. From what I could tell, Kate was the one that asked you out, so she already likes you. Plus, you'll never lose me. The real Emma is still very much in your life, and she'll never leave it. But you need to let me go and focus on someone real. I promise it will be okay. You're right. I really need to give this a chance, Miles said. Emma gives Miles a hug, and then she gets up from her seat and walks outside. The sun gets a little brighter as Miles wakes up. That is when I woke up, and the first person I thought about was Kate and the date we're having tonight. I don't know how tonight's date will go, but I'm looking forward to it. Until the next dream. Miles closes his notebook, puts it back on his nightstand, gets out of bed, and gets ready for work. Dear Love. It's available now on BarnesandNoble.com and on Amazon. Go ahead and check it out. Check out how they meet to everything that happens and the dreams that Miles has, to learning what kind of dreams they were having and why they feel so real and so vivid to him, to what happens at the end of Dear Love. It's available now, BarnesandNoble.com. Go ahead and check it out. This will do it for day 3 of my social media book tour right here on YouTube on my AKT Publishing channel. Look out for 2025. I'm only just getting started. Got more things coming. I'm excited to share it with all of you. So until then, in the meantime, in between time, take care of yourselves. Peace, y'all.